Hello everyone, I'm Jack Murphy filling in for Greg Everett on this week's edition of All American People. Speaking of All American, the All American symbol could be the American Eagle. That's one. Of course, we have the flag. Someone had the vision a long time ago to open up the Eagle's Nest Shops. We're going to dig a little deeper. You've heard about the Eagle's Nest Shops here in downtown Loris, but did you know the story? We'll find out about that and then some on today's All American People. Hey guys, welcome back to my neck of the woods. Of course, I am all over the road these days, and you know, I'm one of those individuals that doesn't find it odd to drive 30 miles to get a great bite to eat or an even a better deal. I shop all over the place. That's why we want to talk to you about coming to downtown Loris. One of the names that we've heard forever, one of the names I knew about before I came over here and became a business owner, was the Eagle's Nest Shops here in downtown Loris. Got a new location right across the street from the radio station these days. We'll see how that's working out. Marjorie Prince, good to see you.
It's nice to be here.
How you been?
Good.
Good to have you on the show. You grew up around these parts?
I actually grew up in Conway.
Okay. And they welcomed you with open arms over here?
They did.
Conway, graduated for you a Tiger by heart?
Mm-hmm.
Did you went to Conway High?
I went to Conway High.
We got to speak on a previous week of broadcasts. I got to fill in for Greg, and I got to see a lot of folks that were involved with the Conway High School Education Foundation over there. Mm-hmm. And I might have actually chatted with a teacher or two of yours.
You may have.
May have, because you being as young as you are, I'm sure I did.
That's what I was thinking about.
Well, how did you end up over here in Loris from Conway?
Well, I actually married a man from Tabor City.
Okay.
And so we lived on one side of Loris for 25 years, and now we've just built a new home and moved to the Tabor City side of Loris.
Okay.
About 4 years ago.
Now, Conway to Tabor City, that's a nice little drive. How did you meet your husband?
How did I meet my husband? A friend of mine introduced him to me. And a year later, someone introduced me to the same man again. So that time it worked.
Oh, the second time was the charm.
The second time was the charm.
Didn't have to wait for the third.
No. 6 months later, we were married.
How about that? That was a fast courtship. 6 months.
It was, and I was scared.
Took me a little bit longer to convince myself. I had the 18-month courtship.
Okay.
Yeah, took me a while. Of course, I'm a little bit slow. I even started with the family. My son was born when I was 40, so it takes me a little while to make up my mind.
Well, that's okay. You need to live a lot before you have children.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at college and my so-called retirement happening the same year. I don't know.
You'll be okay.
You think? Well, did you have you had children? Because I was over at the store and I saw someone pretended to be your daughter.
I have 3 children.
Okay.
2 daughters, 1 son. And my oldest daughter is a school teacher at Ainer Middle.
Okay.
She has 3 children.
So you're spoiling grandkids now.
I am these days. I have a brand new grandbaby born last week, my son and his wife.
Congratulations,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have a new baby girl, which is their second daughter. And I'm sure I'm finished now. My youngest daughter has 2 boys, and they are turning 13 and 11.
So they already know everything. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My son acts like that now, and I'm thinking, wow, he shouldn't be acting like that now.
But you're just getting started.
Just getting started. Well, I hear it gets better.
It does.
Some of the producers for my show and here on All American People are saying it just gets better as they get older.
As they get older, if it doesn't work at home, they call grandmother.
Oh, yeah. And that's how that cookie crumbles.
That's how that works.
Well, the kids, you got so many now. I mean, is that why you built the bigger house and moved? Because you knew that there were going to be more grandkids. I mean, Christmas, you rattled off. I'm thinking break out the ironing board and sit the boys over there for the feast.
We have a good time at Christmas. We actually moved back to the farm where my husband grew up.
Okay.
And one of our primary reasons was the health of his parents. So that's why we decided to move back to the farm. And we like it at the farm. And the children like it at the farm, so they visit often. I have one or more, 2 or 3 every weekend, and they truly enjoy the outdoors and being able to do a lot of hunting and fishing on the farm.
Can fish on the farm too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice.
So they enjoy that, and it's good outdoor sports for boys.
Yeah. How about the girls?
Well, the girls are little. 2 of them are 4 years old, and of course one is 2 weeks old. And
oh yeah,
so
they got another 4 or 5 months before they take up hunting, at least. At least that.
Well, we're not letting them out alone yet. So.
And if I was, the father of a daughter, I wouldn't let them out for the next 12 years, 13, 14, 15, higher. Well, the retail side of things, when did you get to become a business owner, the proprietor of the Eagle's Nest? You just didn't get married and open a business, did you?
No, I worked 30 years in medicine, and 11 years ago I opened my business here in Loris. And it opened as a Christian bookstore and a teacher's supply.
Okay.
A year later, I bought the bridal shop here in town, which was a jewelry store and bridal supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Everything except dresses. We do not carry clothing.
Okay.
But we carry the invitations, napkins, everything you need to plan your wedding. And of course, with the jewelry part, we have the rings and the cake knives, the toasting glasses, everything a bride needs.
Okay. Yeah, because you beat me to the punch there. I walked over to I didn't know how long you'd done that. I didn't know that's how that came about.
That's how that came about. I bought out King's Bridal and Gift 10 years ago and added that to the mix, and that's where we are today.
Well, why the Bible store and the teacher supplies? I mean,
well,
that's an interesting niche, even today, especially back then.
There was a Christian bookstore here in Loris, and it was going out of business, and I actually purchased it sort of on the tail end.
So you're seeing opportunities out there and continue to do so.
Well, I think every town needs a Christian supply so that people can get church-related items if they wish, And of course, a lot of things that we have are Christian-oriented, and a lot of things we have are not. Because in a small town, you have to have a variety of items.
Complete variety. Yeah, Christian bookstore. I mean, what items can we get in? I mean, what would they carry? I mean, I know Max Lucado and some of those, but I don't read a lot of those books. I've got friends who read everything that comes out.
Well, now we can burn it to CDs for you to listen to in your car.
Now that's more up my alley.
We have the My Media burn bar system, and we can burn a soundtrack or a CD in about 3 minutes.
Wow.
Books usually take about 5 to 10 minutes. They're usually sometimes 3, sometimes 5 CDs per book.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it takes a few minutes to do those, but then you can listen to them in your car as you travel up and down the road, and you don't have to waste your time reading. The other things that we do, we have a full stock of Bibles, and we do get Bibles every week. We also get books every week. Music we get every week in addition to the My Media burn bar. But we have all the supplies that churches need, like communion supplies, and we'll be doing a lot of that here.
Okay, see, I didn't know
Easter
that. I didn't know
week.
you had the communion, so yeah, okay. I was wondering if they came from Nashville. I mean, there's so many things that our church uses like that come from Nashville.
You must be Baptist.
You bingo. Yeah, because
Well,
you hit right on the head there of that one.
Okay, but all the things that come out of Nashville are sold in all of your Christian stores.
Okay.
So, you know, the communion supplies, your church roll books, certificates, pins for attendance, or deacon pins, or anything that you'd like to give in a church. Pastor appreciation gifts, things like that.
That's great.
We also stock Bible school literature.
Yeah, we got to start thinking about that.
Bible
Can you
school's
believe that
coming
we're already
up.
talking about Vacation Bible School?
We
yeah.
just had a workshop for Bible school on March 29th, and we have some good themes this year. There are several good Bible schools on the market this year. The one we'll be stocking in full stock is Inside Out, Upside Down on Main Street.
Okay.
And that's on the parables of Jesus in the Bible.
Inside Out, Upside Down.
On Main Street.
Okay. Well, how many different versions of the Holy Bible are there? I mean,
Well, there's many.
I'm not one that goes up there and says the only one is the King James. That's what I have, and that's what I study. We've got some other versions, but
There are many versions of the Bible, and there's getting to be more. There are a lot of good study texts, and I have several different Bibles that I study. I've done a lot of teaching Sunday school, and to do that, you study a lot of different books and
Sure,
Bibles and
right.
commentaries. So some of the Bibles that are the main sellers are the King James Bibles in this area.
yeah, I can imagine.
We sell a lot of New International,
Yeah, NIV, which is
and
the backup.
we sell a lot of New King James now. And
Now, what's a New King James?
okay, it's written very similar to the regular King James Bible. Very little difference. It's worded a little bit easier to read, but not much. And we actually have one Bible called the Woman's Study Bible that every woman should have. There are some things in there you men wouldn't understand.
Oh, come on! I gotta hear this.
Well,
Hit me with something that I don't understand. If it's about women, it would be all of the above. But
well, that's true.
okay,
You see, there's an article in this Bible on every woman that was ever mentioned in the Bible,
okay,
whether
Wow.
her name was mentioned or not.
yeah, there was a lot.
There were some good and there were some bad,
Yeah,
just like we have today. But also it has a lot of articles like on childbirth, marriage.
I'm 0 for 2 right now. You can go on. I don't know anything about childbirth.
And different things that women can relate to a lot easier than men, I think.
Okay.
I think that's why it's the Woman's Study Bible.
Okay.
But there are a lot of good articles in it, a lot of good study text.
Huh.
And if you're teaching, and you're teaching about one of the people that's mentioned in the Bible, it's always good to have an article about them to go back to.
Sure.
So I truly enjoy using that. I do use the King James Study Bible as my primary reading Bible. But in using the Woman's Study Bible and some other text, you get a lot of inside
Sure.
study items.
Well, there's a lot of churches around here. I mean, you drive down any road, I mean, leaving Loris, and, you know, there's a church every 2 miles somewhere.
There
so that's got
is.
to be a lucrative market for you.
There's a church on every corner, and it takes a lot of money to run a church.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know that we need as many churches as we have because of the fact, the expense it takes to run a church. And we should all be able to get along in 1 or 2 churches.
Oh, sure. And that's how a lot of churches get started. I mean,
It
there
is.
is the seed planting. I go to a church which was a spinoff of First Baptist at Myrtle Beach. I go to Ocean View Baptist. But I've also, the church I'd left previously was one of those churches that just kind of got started because of, but when you have people, you have conflict. It doesn't matter in churches or everything. People are people.
Well, people do not think that you should have conflict in church, but you've got 150 people, then you've got 150 personalities.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard for that many personalities to agree on everything all the time. The thing is, as Christian people, we need to learn to disagree agreeably.
Yeah. Well, that's a little tricky for me. But being in business, though, that's probably helped you out on that because I'll say this, the customer's not always right, but you have to let them think that they are at the end of the day because the customer's not always right.
Well, they're not always right, but you have to go with the customer most of the time.
Most of the time you do. And a lot of times, you know, I have gone to some friends of mine that have businesses, and I know you'll appreciate this as a business owner, is that I've actually gone, I didn't make a big deal about it, but I told them what was wrong, and then I noticed that they fixed it. Sometimes criticism and being told something is a real plus. I want somebody to tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Constructive criticism in a business is essential.
It's very essential.
And I always encourage people to tell me if they see something they think that we can improve on.
Right.
Anything they think we're doing wrong. It's great to have input from outside.
Well, you've got a great track record with that. You moved to a new location. I mean, that's a big location you have across the street over there. A little bit more square footage than your previous location?
It's a little bit more square footage, but it's all on one floor.
Right.
That's why everyone thinks it's so much larger. We had upstairs before,
right,
and that was not convenient for some people. We had all the teaching supplies upstairs, and now they're all downstairs, and it makes it easier. The store is more open, and it's easier to control and be able to help people.
Well, it's a great store. One of the taglines you guys use is from Bibles to diamonds. I mean, as a man, and I will tell you this, it doesn't ring into my thinking of shopping there except for, you know, Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or Easter. But for gift giving, I mean, you can't. Mother's Day is just the place to go. I mean, if you can't find something for mom at your place, something's wrong with you.
And we always wrap free.
Yeah, see, free gift wrap. You still do something that I'm glad to see is still around, layaway.
We do layaway.
Because in this economy, I can't see where, I know that there is one chain that promotes that, but you've been doing that forever.
We've always done layaway, and it makes it convenient for people, especially people right here in town. They can put things on layaway, and they don't have to take them home right away. That works out especially nice for men at Christmas because wives tend to plunder.
Oh, yeah.
And they find things.
Is there any story like that in that woman's study Bible about women plundering? I bet that's not in there, is it?
I don't think that's in there.
Yeah.
But we also have a safe if someone purchases something they do not want to take home.
Right.
Then it's stored in the safe until they decide to come pick it up, Christmas Eve or whenever.
Wow. So you can lay away anytime and get it gift wrapped, because I can wrap, gift wrap.
Good.
And but that's a trick that men don't know much about.
No, especially men like to get things wrapped.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at the women that say they cannot gift wrap.
Yeah.
And I think that's why bags are so popular.
Oh yeah.
And bags are one of the leading gift wrap items. But we have cards and stationery type things that lots of people here in town cannot get anywhere else. Now there are some other places in town that sell cards, but things like baby books, wedding books, things like that, I don't believe there's anyone else in town that sells that. And these are things that people should not have to drive 50 miles to get.
Sure.
That's the thing of having small town shops, is that when you need something, it's there. That's another reason that people need to promote Loris and shop in Loris, so everything can stay here and be at their.
Well, let's talk about the promotion, Loris, because you've taken it outside your individual business. I served with you there on the Chamber of Commerce there for a few years. What was you'd served on the board for a long time.
I had been on the board for 8 years.
Okay. Were you approached, or did you approach them about becoming a member of the Chamber?
They approached me.
Well, you didn't say no. We know that.
Well, I thought about it for a little while,
Right.
and I thought that it would be the thing to do, to give back to the community what I was able to do. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with the people on the board and the people in Loris. I think that the Chamber does a lot of good things for Loris, and they promote Loris well. And I hope that in the near future we're going to see Loris grow.
Sure.
We all hope this economy is going to turn around and building will start again,
Sure.
which will bring more people to Loris and to the surrounding area.
Well, if you're looking at building, I mean, you know this because you get more bang for your buck out here. Take the price of gasoline aside, you've got a world-class hospital facility in your backyard, which is unheard of with small town living. You can get a great meal at a great price. We have more eating places per capita than I think they do at the beach.
Yes.
And more are coming, so you can get anything you want to eat here. I mean, there's some real assets, and I'm still considered, I guess, a stranger to town after 3 years. But it's like it doesn't take long to make some long-lasting friendships. I mean, I got people here in town that if I really truly needed something, I feel like they'd be right there to help me. So there's a lot of pluses here.
That is the value of a small town. People know people.
Yep.
And you make friends and you get to know people. But I'm glad you mentioned the price, because I frequently, when I'm not in my store, I frequently go to other places of business and I check prices to make sure that we're in line or below. When our jewelry comes in, we automatically discount it a third, because in a rural area like this, we can't charge as much as they can, say, in Myrtle Beach or in a larger town. So things are cheaper here.
Definitely are.
I mean, many people think they're more expensive in a small town, but they're not. That's a misconception.
And the quality is there. So if you're looking at jewelry, your husband, and perhaps you as well, trained jeweler.
My husband.
Okay.
I do some things, but he actually does the hard work.
The hard stuff. So, I mean, based on your budget, you are going to get, just on jewelry, I know you guys can compete with anybody, anywhere on prices.
I'll have to say he does very good work. He does beautiful engraving. And we turn everything within the week.
That's incredible.
He's not there every day, but we do turn it out within a week turnaround. Times like Mother's Day and Christmas, he's in a lot.
Sure.
Because most people have to have that at the time, right then, because they need it for those days. So he is there to make sure that it's done immediately.
What are the hours of operation? If someone's watching the show and we're seen all over, they need to come over here and get a bite to eat and spend a little time with you, when can they come see you?
We're there 9:30 to 6, Monday through Saturday. We do not open on Sunday.
Okay, 9:30 to 6, Monday through Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us. Free layaway and free gift wrapping.
That's right.
There's still a whole bunch of holidays left. Still got
And
time.
good customer service.
Absolutely, no doubt. Marjorie, good seeing you. Thanks for all your work on the Chamber. It's a pleasure serving with you.
Thank you.
All American People continues in just a moment. Well, folks, it's been a pleasure getting to sit in with all the fine folks on All American People, working behind the scenes with Greg Everett's crack team of professionals. He'll be back real soon. Come see us in downtown Loris. Right at the intersection of US 701 is not only our radio station, WLSC Tiger Radio, but our good friends across the street, Marjorie Prince and all of her gang at the Eagles Nest Shop, swinging free layaway, free gift wrapping. I love it. Marjorie, thank you so much for all you do for Loris.